Hello all, welcome back to Shaving with Peg Leg. We're going to do a face shave today. I actually shouldn't have taken my glasses off. I'm a dumbass, you all know that. Alright, we're using Wet to Face Modern Barbershop. This is more of a powdery scent. I want to get their vintage next, Barbershop, and see the change of that one. The difference between this one and that one. This says it is a clean, sharp finish, sweet aftershave combination of aromas, aromatic spices, and orange zest. And then the ingredients are at the bottom, and I'm not even going to try and read that with my eyes. Okay, this is the one I was telling you guys I had to contact them about how loose it is. This is definitely a cream, more than a hard soap. I will get the words out eventually. My son was here today, and he pressure washed my house because we needed to clean it. It had a little mold growing on the backside, and I need to get that off before it gets bad. So anyways, he pressure cleaned the house, and this is his taking a shower after he got done because he was all sweaty. And he came in here and he took a shower and he arm spanned his ass, and he's 6'3", and he knocked brushes off my shelf. He smacked my camera mount around. Now my camera, when it's on it, my phone, it pivots, it swings like that. That's like, dude. And he hit my shelf here, knocked all my razors out of whack. I'm like, dude, seriously. Kids. Alright, blade. Alright, here. I'll be like everybody else. I always do it. Don't worry about it. This is just something I have always done. I've got very tough fingers, and it does not bother me to do that. I can even give it, I don't know if you can see the groove in my fingers, how much I was pressing. It's Personna, made in the USA. We'll slip it on the base plate. Then we'll put the top cap in. Now we'll screw the handle on. Okay, this razor has the post is stainless steel, has those two pins that are stainless steel, an aluminum head, and there is a stainless steel insert in the aluminum tube so that the steel post does not strip the threads in the aluminum tube. So you have to put a steel insert in there to keep that from happening, because steel is harder than aluminum. It will strip them. And as much as we all like to be stripped, you don't want to strip that. Okay. So I got, alright, sorry, I had to run some water here for a second. I just needed to get a little bit to put the razor in to warm it up. Okay. I got my bowl. I think I paid $12 for this brush on eBay. I'm sure it's gone up in the last year. UncleL Shaves, whatever. 24mm synthetic barber pole stripe, and everything in my shop, as you can see, barber pole, because that was the theme for my bathroom. When I was in rehab, I was thinking, I want to redo my bathroom. What theme do I want to do? And I came up, when I started to do shave videos, I said barbershop. I wish my bathroom was big enough to put a barber chair here. I would. But I'm going to get one for my living room. And instead of having my regular seat, which isn't even a recliner, I'm going to use a barber chair. Okay, I think this is going to need a little more water. It's a little tight. gonna need more water. I think I have enough for 3 passes. Maybe not a face wash this time. It's hard to talk with no teeth. Guys, I don't have many nightmares. There's only 2 nightmares I actually ever had. Because I worked armed security for so long. I have the nightmare where you have to pull your gun, you pull the trigger, and I carried a Glock. So you didn't get that thump of a hammer hitting the metal frame. You have a striker that travels in a channel in the firearm. And when it's pulled back on a spring, and the spring compresses. When it reaches the point of being released, the spring shoots it forward, and you get a click. I haven't had that dream in a long time. Not since I stopped working, really, because that's you pull the trigger and all it does is go click, and you know there's a round in the chamber. You rack another round in the chamber. You pull the trigger again. It goes click, and that's all you ever hear. That's the nightmare you have when you're doing armed security. I'm sure cops have had that nightmare too. Actually, I've talked to a couple cops. They said yes, they've had that nightmare. Or you pull the trigger and nothing happens. And the other nightmare I have, and I had it last night, and this is the one that keeps me from sleeping after I have it, is the sound that an aluminum bat makes when it strikes you in the face, in the mouth, and in the head 3 times. You don't ever want to know what that sounds like. Like I said, I've been shot at more times than a little bit. I've been stabbed, been ambushed with an aluminum baseball bat. I've had fruit and vegetables thrown at me, ice cubes, and somebody tried to run me over in a car several times. It's not because I was doing anything or being any kind of a-hole, like I really could have been, but I never was, because I'm working in their house, their neighborhood. They are there all the time. They've got all the backup. I'm by myself. So I was never the a-hole. But because you were in the uniform and you were telling them things they couldn't do that they wanted to do because they were against the rules of the complex. But they didn't want to hear it. Anyways. We might have enough for a face wash. I did not. You guys saw how much was in there. It was not a lot, and I've got a lot of soap in here, and it's still a little dry for me. I like it a little wetter. I like it when I pull the brush away and you get the peak. The soap peaks up. I like as soon as it releases that the peak flops over, and this is still standing upright. So what we're going to do? Oh, I forgot my pre-shave again. I had to reach for it. Excuse me. What we're going to do is put the pre-shave on, the PAA Cube. My yard guy who does maintenance on stuff around the trim of the house that the park does not do. He was out today too, so 2 people working on the house today. So my son just left a little while ago, so I wanted to spend time with him because I don't get to see him that often. So I'm shaving kind of late. It's after 9 p.m. This is a good lathering soap. It really is. I think I'm going to have enough for a couple face washes. I just put soap into my ear. Hang on a second. See? Okay. That should work. I'm a dumbass. Okay. Today, August 30th, in... I forgot the years. Damn it. My brain just went blank. Not hard, though. In 1836, Augustus Chapman Allen and his younger brother John Kirby Allen bought 6,500 acres, or 6,600 acres, just north of Buffalo Bayou in Texas for $5,000 and established the city of Houston. Okay, a little precursor to that. This thing is super light, guys. And the Personna is a Personna Platinum because those are the ones that are made in the United States. Or is that a Lab Blue? It might be a Lab Blue. Yeah, it might be a Lab Blue. I don't have any boxes for any of my Personas. When I buy Personna blades, I usually buy them 5 or 10 at a time, and they always come to me loose in an envelope. I never get a box. So this is a milder razor, so using a Lab Blue would not be a problem. Okay. It's been one of those days, guys. Nothing has gone right. So I'll be surprised if I have skin left on my face after this. Okay. It's actually pretty good. All right. Now, the brothers, the Allen brothers, were born in Canaseraga Village in New York. And Augustus was born on July 4th, 1806. It's just after turning 17, Augustus graduated from Polytech College in his hometown. And he was teaching math there. And when his younger brother graduated, they moved. He gave up his job teaching at the college, and they both moved to New York City, and they worked for H&H Canfield Company, accountants in New York City. And then after a little while there, they bought part of the business. They bought into the business. And after doing that for a little while, They don't give exact dates on a lot of this stuff. They sold that. They sold their interest in the business, and they moved to Texas. They first arrived in Galveston, Texas, but then they moved and opened up business and lived in Nacogdoches, Texas. Some of these names are just going to absolutely flick and kill me. Okay. Now, they were there when the Texas Civil War broke out, the independence from Mexico, the fighting to free Texas from Mexico. And they did not enlist in the army. Instead, they took up ferrying supplies and buying supplies for the army out of their own pocket. Instead of fighting the war, they were supporting the war. But the Texas Governing Council, during the war, rumors started going around. The brothers, okay, so let me back up a second. The brothers bought a schooner called the Brutus, and they named it the Brutus, and put guns on it for protecting the Texas coast, supporting the troops, and running supplies. Okay? Then the Texas Governing Council, rumors started floating around in the Texas Governing Council that they were engaged in privateering, which is basically because they had a charter letter from the government to do what they were doing. And being a privateer is basically being a pirate with a charter from your government saying it's okay for you to be a pirate. So rumors started floating around that they were being pirates. They were being a privateer. So, to squash that rumor, they sold the ship to the Texas Navy. And it was the second ship of the Texas Navy, the Brutus. It was a 4-ship Navy in the end. There was only 4 ships in the Texas Navy at the time of the Texas War of Independence. And the Brutus was one of them. But they still kept buying and ferrying supplies to the troops. Because that's what their business basically was they had multiple businesses. But they did a lot of buying, selling, and trading of items. So they were supplying the troops. Out of their own pocket, mind you. They did not bill anybody for this support that they were giving. Unlike today, which somebody would be making billions of dollars off of it. Black Hawk. Anyways, they were supplying the troops out of their own pocket. But still, the rumors kept persisting that they were stealing some of the goods and selling it on the black market and such. It's like, how do you steal goods that you paid for? Nobody paid you to buy them. You did not bill the Texas government for this. You were buying it out of your pocket to supply the troops. This was your contribution to the war effort. Instead of fighting, you were gathering supplies for troops, for the men. So how is it you're stealing anything? Sounds like a real political quandary, doesn't it? Politics. So anyways, John Kirby, the younger brother, John Kirby Allen, the younger brother, like I said, they They bought the Brutus. They sold the Brutus in January of 1836 to the Texas Navy. And then the rumors continued. And after the Revolution, this is when they bought the 6,600 acres just north of Buffalo Bayou in Texas for $5,000. They had the money to do that because Augustus' wife, Charlotte, had oops, I didn't do my neck. Or I did do it in the neck and I just squished it down. Anyways, we'll do it again. How about that? Thought I did do it. I did do it, didn't I? It's when I bent my neck down, I got it all soap again. Okay. Anyways, she received an inheritance, and they used her money to buy the land, and her condition was that they would name the city after a Texas hero, General Sam Houston. So hence, you now have the city of Houston named after the famous Texas General Sam Houston. Courtesy of the Allen brothers, who had to undergo multiple rumors that they were thieves and pirates when they were using their own money to supply the Texas fight for independence. I know, I already did this, right? Well, I'm talking and I lost track, so we'll do it again. This is a mild shaver, so. Or maybe I won't have to do pickups. So anyways, I lost track. Sorry, I was talking. So anyways, sue me. You ain't getting nothing. His younger brother died. Augustus Kirby's younger brother died. And he died in 1838. And after he died, he was the one that kept peace in the family. He was the mediator. He was the peace negotiator. He was the voice of reason. And after he died, the family started squabbling and fighting amongst themselves over their business ventures and a lot of other things. And Augustus ended up getting separated from his wife Charlotte. Did not divorce her. He ended up just getting separated from her. So, shortly after that, 1850, Augustus started getting ill, and he couldn't maintain what he had been doing because of his illness. He needed better climate. I have to do this more often. I keep getting soap in my ear. Needed better climate for his health, so he moved to Mexico. He signed off over all his business ventures, including the city of Houston, to his wife, Charlotte. So she got Houston, Texas, because he had bad health. So he moves to Mexico, on the west coast of Mexico. Sorry, I'm going to have to look this up because I can never, ever, and I'm going to have to read the names to pronounce them. So he moves there, and after a while, in I believe it's 1852. Yes, in 1852, he's appointed the United States Counselor for the port of Tehuantepec on the Pacific Ocean, and in 1858, he was given the same position for the port of Manatitlan. These offices gave him control of the consular affairs of the United States for the entire Isthmus of Tehuantepec, a commercially important position. Okay. So during this time, Allen forms a shipping company with an Englishman named Welsh. Very profitable, very big shipping company. But during this time, his health just deteriorates and he has to leave Mexico. And he decides to, in 1864, critically ill, decides to go to Washington, D.C. and turn in his consulorships to resign. And he does that. But while he's in D.C., he contracts pneumonia and he never recovers from the pneumonia. And he died on January 11th, 1864 in Washington, D.C. and was buried in Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, New York. So the man who founded Houston, Texas was born in New York, did business in Texas, and died in New York. Or was buried in New York, excuse me, he died in D.C. And he named the city that he paid for, the land he bought, and the buildings he put up, he named it after a Texas independence hero, General Sam Houston. And he still did that after Texans in the government accused him of being a pirate and a thief. And he still built what is now the largest metropolitan area in Texas. It's bigger than Dallas-Fort Worth. Houston is the biggest metropolitan area in Texas and the fourth largest city in the United States. Houston, Texas area. Fourth most populous. Excuse me. Jesus. My Q-tip is soaked with soap. My ears are freaking soap magnets. I've said that before. That one's done. I had to throw it away. Okay. I am BBS. Okay, it is, I'm thinking about this is a Lab Blue blade. So, the super light TRC razor at $44 with a Personna Lab Blue blade will give you BBS in what, five passes that I took, something like that. But it will give you BBS, and it cuts down the aggression on the blade. You can see the overhang. It's not bad. I will have all the specs in the description box, of course. It is super, super light, guys. I couldn't even weigh my Mercure Future on my little tiny gunpowder weighing scale. It's too heavy, and it's a solid one-piece razor, except for the flimsy little cap that pops off of it. Well, it's not flimsy, but it didn't cut the weight enough to get measured. So I had to go off readings I found on the internet of what the weight was. This I'll be able to measure because my scale will cover that easy. Okay. I'm going to do a face wash. Here we go. Because, guys, I have lots of soap. Wow. Great scent. This soap, as you can tell, it lathers very well. And it is really slick. All right, I need more hot water. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. It's slick. I can feel it. It feels good. It's all right. That's good enough. What the hell? Let's get on with this. But I just thought it was interesting when I saw that, because I do a search of what happened this day, and I go through and I look, and there's all kinds of stuff. And it lists all kinds of battles like Civil War, World War I, World War II, Japan, feudal Japan, or Rome, or World War I. Okay, it lists all kinds of stuff that happened, battles and things. And I saw that one and I was like, and this was 1836. In 1830, I think it was 1836, wasn't it? Yes, 1836. In 1835, the city of Melbourne, Australia was founded on this day. So there was a couple interesting things. And the city of Honolulu in Hawaii became a city. It wasn't founded, but the population grew enough that it became a city. I forget when that was, 1880s, I think. All right. But anyways, Allen Block. Absolutely nothing. Nothing on the base. See, like I said, I'll look at these stories and then I'll investigate them a little bit and I'll see which one I want to talk about. And I saw this one, I was like, are you kidding me? This guy, out of his own pocket, him and his brother, out of their own pockets, were buying supplies, transporting them to the men fighting for Texas independence, bought a ship, outfitted the ship, paid for the crew of the ship, paid for the supplies for the crew of the ship, bought supplies, had them transported on the ship to Texas for the troops fighting in Texas and all that, and was accused of piracy by his own government that he was helping to fight for, strictly because they did not enlist in the army. Well, armies march on their stomach, right? And armies need bullets to shoot. So you got somebody running you supplies. Great scent. I like that. I like that modern barbershop. I want to smell their vintage. I've got the vintage bar. It does smell better to me. I like the vintage smell more than the modern, but this is a good modern barbershop scent. But you got a guy paying out of his own pocket to do all this, and as the government, you call him a pirate and accuse him of theft? Who's he stealing from? Which Hazel? It was crazy, and yet he still turns around, builds a city, and buys land and builds a city in your state and names it after one of the biggest heroes of the time for Texas. All right, I got their aftershave. Give it a couple shake-a-roos. I already took the plastic off the top this time, but it's got the nice, that's the restrictor. Okay, it's a good restrictor. Good restrictor. Oh, that smells good. Slightly different than the soap, but it smells really good. And I got the balm. I wish, just that much. I don't know how it's going to spread, so it's probably a little more than I'm ever going to use again. But I wish they had the balm for the cup of coffee, the perfect cup. That would be great. Okay. Smells good. All right, guys. That was a good shave. Wow, I'm at 35 minutes. I'm sorry. I really ran way over. Didn't realize I was doing that bad. It's probably because of the extra pass I took. This is a good razor. It's very, very light, but it's a good mild shaver. Put a more aggressive blade in it for a better shave, in my opinion. Because I used the Lab Blue in it, and those are pretty sharp. And you know me, if I'm not bleeding, I'm not shaving. Well, I guess it didn't shave because I got no blood. All right, guys, that's it for me, and for Augustus Allen and his brother, founding of Houston. I found that interesting. Okay, guys, take care out there. I appreciate you. Love you all from here. Don't forget the affiliate link. It hits 25. I buy a gift card. I'm going to keep it up. All right. Anyways, take care out there. Done with the babbling fat guy in the camera. You're in the chair next. Happy shaves out there.